Tokyo Game Show 2020. This has been going on all week. So here are some of the bigger announcements. I'm just going to go through this. Near Replicant. So they had a big show on this. Now it's hard to parse out the information because it's all in Japanese. So I kind of have been watching on and off with like IGN has sometimes they'll have a translator and then sometimes I'll just watch it on the TGS channel where there's no translator and I just have to go off what I see. So Near Replicant, they gave a bunch of new details on that. So it's an upgraded version of the 2010 Japanese RPG. It's going to be released on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on April 23rd, 2021. So this game actually looks pretty good. They showed more gameplay. So if you want to see that, I would suggest going looking for that. So Resident Evil Village. This is a big one. And I'm actually going to go into more depth on this after I go through this. So actually, you know what? We can just go into depth right now. All right, so this one they're kind of being hush on this. So they did have a developer video which you can watch. I believe it's this video right here, Developer Insights. And the developers kind of went over like what they wanted to let people know about the game, and their big focus is like, hey, we didn't call it Resident Evil 8 because the village is so important. So they keep making emphasis on the village. So I did take some screenshots that during the presentation. I think I'll try to like put them in the video, but let me go through those. So the many characters to be encountered in the village. What dramatic turn of events lie ahead? So they're going to have a bunch of different types of characters, and I assume that they're all going to contribute to the story of the game. So here you have Ethan. He was the protagonist in Resident Evil 7. And then you have Chris. So Chris is like supposedly all like burned out from all the, stuff that he's encountered in his life. And he's kind of like, I don't know. I assume he's going to be like war torn. So they have like this whole fairy tale thing going on. And they're going to use that to kind of like narrate the story. What of the creatures that lurk in the darkness of the village? So they're going to have a bunch of different like, types of creatures. So I assume it's not going to just be like your typical zombies. That I saw like people saw a werewolf, and who knows? There's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff. And then the peaceful tranquility was ripped away from none other than Chris Redfield. Remnants of the familiar battle-scarred hero is nowhere to be found in his dark profile. So he's probably just going to be a totally different guy, super down and just kind of beaten up. This guy appeared at the end of the trailer. I don't know who he is. So years after the nightmarish incident, Ethan Winters, protagonist of RE7, has finally returned to living an ordinary life with his family. However, so maybe Ethan comes to this village to kind of like escape what the trauma from RE7, only to find that like troubles followed him. I don't know. I don't know how the story's going to start, but it seemed kind of like the way they worded that, it seemed like that's a possibility. All right, so next up, let's go back and all right. So Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memory, so this is getting a playable demo. I think I will try the demo before I consider buying it. I'm not too big on rhythm and dance games, but it does look fun. And so this is releasing November 13th. Near Reincarnation. So this is a mobile game. It's a 3D and 2D mobile game spin-off title. So I'm not too interested in this. Latest Fault visual novel gets a new trailer. Previous game also announced for Twitch. I don't know much about this. I have seen their videos of them online, but so Xbox Series S. This is a pretty big thing. Xbox Series S is getting a price reduction in Japan. Why? Well, Xbox is their biggest growing market right now is in Japan. So they're reducing the price by about $28. So I assume they're trying to pick up more customers. So that's interesting. Xbox has always had a harder time in Japan, although I know the 360 was kind of popular for some players, especially like fighting game players. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Microsoft Flight Simulator to add Japan World Update next week. The Medium exclusive new trailer introduces key characters. Don't know much about this, but it looks like it's a horror game. New Gigabash character pays tribute to Japanese hero series. The B movie styled 4-player arena brawler in which giant monsters and ranger heroes battle it out for supremacy. All right, so this article isn't fully updated, so let's move on. All right, so the next big thing was, and I watched this morning. There was a Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity showcase. So they kind of like showed a bunch more gameplay. So let's take a look at some of these images. So I don't know her name. What's her name? So there's multiple playable characters, and they all have a different fighting style. So during the video, they showed Link fighting, and he has all his attacks from Breath of the Wild. Now, for those unfamiliar with warrior games, they're like over the top hack and slash where you have like this crazy range of attacks, and you just like dominate the battlefield. And then you have to fight. You have to take on different bosses, and you hit checkpoints. So they showed her gameplay. She's obviously a ninja style gameplay. Here you can see clones of her, shadow clones. And she seems pretty cool, actually. Very dynamic. Link was also pretty awesome. He did this thing where like he could uppercut enemies in the air with his sword and then shoot a bunch of arrows at them. So yeah, I am pre-ordering this, and I've also this is kind of interesting. I also ordered a copy of the definitive edition of Hyrule Warriors that came out on the Switch in 2018. If you have it, I have good news for you. The game is selling for around $80 right now. It's actually hard to get, and I think the new Hyrule Warriors has sparked a lot of interest. So I'm going to play that, probably put up some videos on YouTube of that. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for Hyrule Warriors. All right, so this was interesting news. Virtua Fighter. So Sega is having their 60th anniversary, which is insane. Um, and Virtua Fighter, the first 3D fighting game. They're announcing that they're gonna do something esports related with Virtua Fighter. So their trailer didn't show the gameplay really. It just showed like, you know, esports players, and then at the end, um, yeah, it showed a clip of what the game might look like. So Virtua Fighter has been kind of like left out in the cold for a while. Um, and I have attended many fighting game tournaments. It's not really a staple of American fighting game players, but it is still big in Japan. They're the best players, obviously. So yeah, I want to see. They're gonna have to fully revitalize the game. Um, they should definitely take notes from Tekken, Soul Calibur. You kind of need flashy super moves in games nowadays. So yeah, I'm interested to see now if they keep it like the old like stale rock paper scissors type combat. I don't think it's gonna do good. So yeah, let's see what they do with that. All right. And then right before this podcast, my friend actually showed this. Uh, he actually sent this to me. Wait, I gotta mute it. So they're gonna obviously Capcom's gonna do another big announcement for Street Fighter. But here's a preview of Dan, and he's gonna be one of the next characters released. So for those of you unfamiliar, Dan's like a troll character. He's kind of like the weakest Shotokan fighter, but he's very fun to play. And if you get your taunt off in a combo, it's so satisfying because people get so salty. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Capcom's full announcement there. Um, all right, so that's kind of it for Tokyo Game Show. I assume they're leaving their best for last, so it's still going on, and I think it's going to go on till Sunday. So yeah, if there's something really big, I'll cover it in next week's show, but who knows? The gaming news cycle is so fast, so. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll see you all next time.